guys, what's going on? It's Adrian over here at Injen Technology, and I'm just finishing up a dyno on this 2018 Nissan Altima. Now this body style goes from 2013 to 2018. We like testing every year. A popular kit, the part number is an SP1948, and what we like doing is testing for you, the consumer, and just let alone make sure that this part still works for every year. Some manufacturers change tunings, some things change for emissions, but either way, for our comfort, for your comfort, for the consumer, we're testing it. Finished up the baseline. Now let's go ahead and show you guys how to install it. Take a look. Get started, I'd recommend go ahead and just disconnect the battery, the negative terminal, just go ahead and loosen it, pull it to the side. But right now, since I am doing testing, I'm just gonna go ahead and just leave it connected. I've done a bunch of these installs, so myself, I'm pretty cautious, but on a side note, go ahead and disconnect the battery before you get started. All right guys, so let's go ahead and we're gonna remove the factory airbox. Just a few basic, there's some clamps, a clamp on the throttle body. You're gonna have the mass airflow sensor, which we're gonna disconnect. Crankcase ventilation, we're also gonna disconnect. And this factory ram snorkel. There's a couple clips here that we're gonna just snap off. It's up to you if you wanna remove the plastic shroud, the radiator shroud. But for this, we're just gonna pop a couple of these plastic clips. And from there, this will give us access to this bolt here. So, let's go ahead and do that. Pull this back just a little bit. And there's two 10mm bolts. What we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen these up. And we're gonna remove the factory ram snorkel piece. You remove those two bolts, you're gonna just go ahead and pull this back, lift this up into position, and just go ahead and remove the factory ram snorkel piece out of the vehicle. Now what we're also gonna do is disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Is actually attached to the factory airbox. And there's a little tiny clip, so you might need to just use some pliers or whatever's easiest to pull the harness clip away from the airbox. There's that. There's the harness that's just disconnect. We'll go ahead and, there we go. So harness is pulled away from the airbox itself. And then we can go ahead and start by loosening the clamp on the throttle body and pulling the crankcase box out of the way also. Loosen that clamp on the airbox, go ahead and pull it back. Then what you're gonna do, there's a 10mm bolt back here holding the airbox in. Go ahead and loosen that up. Use your magnet, or you got long skinny hands like me, you can go ahead and grab that and pull it out. Now, the airbox itself just has two little studs that actually seat in a grommet. So once you loosen that and the harness again is pulled out, just go ahead and lift up. And there is on the CVT models, there is a fitting that's locked, that's just a vent line. You want to go ahead and pry that off. That little clip, just go ahead and pull it off, and then the airbox is removed. On to removing this factory intake tube on the back side. Just either get like I said, either a nut driver, flathead screwdriver, whatever's easiest. And right now I have a flathead screwdriver, allowing me to just have access to the clamp itself, just so I can loosen it enough to remove the intake tube, and that'll pop out. Now, this kit here, we utilize this catch can. So, what I would do is with the set of either channel locks or pliers or whatever's easiest for your convenience, go ahead and depress that clamp and pull and remove the intake tube out of the vehicle. Again, this is gonna be used in the kit. And the reason we use that is for emissions. This is a catch can, so you have to reuse this in the kit itself. All right guys, so we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna install our engine intake. Again, part number is SP1948. Here's the heat shield. It will attach, since we removed the factory ram screw, this vehicle actually has enough forced air to push into the factory airbox, which is the OEM ram. So we utilize one side, and this heat shield actually bolts into place and force that air right to the filter. Itself comes with the trim seal. You're going to apply that to the top of the heat shield. That's done, and let's go ahead and install it in the vehicle. remove this bolt here, or excuse me, this nut. Pull that out. Save it because you're going to be reusing it. And then on the heat shield itself, there's a mounting point that'll lay down on here. We'll go ahead and install it. Secure it with this nut. And then with the provided hardware, washer and nut, we're going to install and secure the tab on this heat shield. Open it up. Your heat shield nice and secure. All right guys, so I already removed the mass airflow sensor from the factory airbox. We're gonna go ahead and install this into our new engine intake tube. Now take note from the air filter side to the throttle body side and make sure that the mass airflow sensor has the correct capturing point. This is a one-way sensor, so it only can be installed one way. So once that's installed, go ahead and use the factory screws that we removed from the airbox, and we're going to go ahead and install and secure the mass airflow sensor. Go ahead, secure and tighten the mass airflow sensor, and we're done. We're going to go ahead and install the provided vibra mount to the bracket that's right above the battery. You're going to go ahead and secure the back side of it using an M6 nut. Now don't tighten it yet, just because we're going to be installing the intake, so kind of just have it sitting there and snug, okay? And then leave the fender washer and nut. We'll go ahead and get this thing installed. Let's install the provided step hose with the clamps. It's going to be the number 40 and the number 48 with their step hose, 2 3/4 with the 3-inch side. Put the 2 3/4 side down onto the throttle body. Now that's not tighten anything yet because we're going to be installing the intake. So this gives us a little bit of room for adjustability when we're installing the intake. Go ahead and install the intake tube now into the vehicle. With this provided straight hose here, go ahead and attach it to the fitting. Don't tighten anything yet. Again, just so we'd get the installation down. We're going to go ahead and install that tube to the step hose, right? And we're going to go ahead and kind of adjust this into position, right? The bracket to that vibra mount from earlier. Go ahead and just kind of secure this into place, right? Got that hose? Let's go ahead and position for the best fit. Loosen some clamps if you need to. Got that into position, right? Now we're going to go ahead and get the CCV box. Might have to loosen some clamps if necessary. Right? We're going to place this into position. Okay? And the reason you're asking for that awkward angle is so that the OEM engine cover still could close with the box on the back. Let's go ahead and snug fit that, right? We're going to go ahead and tighten the clamps down here on the bottom of the throttle body. And we're going to go ahead and reposition if necessary. Once you get this intake tube lined up, there's quite a few different positions here on this bracket. You can either loosen this bracket, this bracket, this bracket. Get this thing positioned exactly where you want it and kind of snug fit. And then from there, what we'll do is just kind of snug fit a little bit into place. You don't want to over tighten anything just in case you need to go back in there and readjust the clamp or readjust any other spots. Guys, we're gonna go ahead and install our air filter. Make sure when you grab these things, grab them by the urethane. Try not to grab by the pleat so you don't damage the pleats itself. Rotate. Tighten with the clamp. Got plenty of clearance on the bottom. Again, tighten and readjust if you need to. You can readjust and tighten multiple times. Our mass airflow sensor harness, we're gonna go ahead and plug in. Make sure you hear that click, and there we have it, guys. Again, we can put the engine cover back on, but since I'm doing testing, I got some wiring for the RPM pickup that we need to use. But there you have it, guys. The intake system's installed. Let's go ahead and dyno. All right, guys, so there you have it. 2018 Nissan Altima. Our current kit, the SP1948, that's the part number, fits 2013 all the way up to 2018. So that's what we do. We test all of our products. That's what sets us apart from our competitors. So till then, we'll see you guys.